All right, it's June 1st, so figured we should probably take another garden tour video. We'll give you a look around. So we got some irises blooming over here. We went and took some snippets of a mulberry tree that was in a cemetery nearby, and we were trying to grow them. Some of them seem to have some leaves going, some of them not so much. We have been doing a bunch of tree clearing. We'd kind of realized that a lot of the trees on our property are invasive, scrubby, gross looking trees that also aren't that great for necessarily the environment. So we've been cutting down a bunch of them and just kind of clearing away, because we figure, hey, let's, instead of having crappy trees in 10 years, even if it means that we have small trees in 10 years, let's have small trees rather than crappy ones. Strawberry patch is looking good. We got the first of our strawberries. We got one strawberry off yesterday or the day before. First strawberry of the year. The grapevines here are looking pretty good. That one's looking all right, but then this one looks pretty awesome. Tomatoes. So I filled the bed with logs to try and do like a hugelkultur thing, but I don't think I had enough compost and enough good dirt on top. So I think that the logs are stealing the nitrogen from the soil, and with tomatoes being very heavy feeders, that they're not doing very well. That's what supposedly I think the internet would say. Here, Logan's box is doing pretty well. We got some kind of melon, squash, something I think going on. And then I think some carrots, some beets, some other random stuff. I don't know. We had to add some protection against rabbits here and in a few different places. We got this one at a dinner that we went to. It was a centerpiece, and they said, hey, take a centerpiece home. So we did. And here, which I think actually since the last garden update, all of this side planter area is new. And here, this first part, I planted a variety of some flowers, which it looks like maybe some are starting to sprout, come up, germinate, whatever. And then in here, I planted a whole bunch of different herbs. So we'll see how those do. Also new, so you guys have seen the Three Sisters, but then in here, I said, you know what, I'm going to plant a bunch of extra corn in between, and I ended up mulching it with straw, which seems to be working pretty well. But this corn is coming up quick. It's already sprouted and germinated. So since this corn is a bit taller, and here I planted black beans, kind of surrounding, so that's the second of the Three Sisters. The trees are definitely leafing out and looking good. We got to mow right now. Raspberries are looking really good. I did add these T-posts so that way I can put in a wire around things to keep the raspberries up once they get going. Those grapes are starting to look good. I think that these two first grapes, I think that they are dead. I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. Raspberries. We got our honeyberries. So I cleared this whole area away. And my plan for it is that I will be doing some larger hugelkultur mounds. So kind of like 3, 1 close to it, another, and then another. And those will be next year. Space for a whole bunch of melons and squashes and things that are more viney. Zucchinis are looking good. Then our summer squashes are looking good. Some of them did get a little bit bent. I don't know if you can see that from, we had a hailstorm, which was kind of a bummer. Herb garden is looking pretty dang good. So yeah, here we got, again, this is new, I think, since the last garden update. I added all this side planting area. And here we have a couple of currants that we got from, there's a nursery right down the road that had a whole bunch of native plants. So we got some, currants from there, as well as a mulberry tree, some service berries, some Nanking cherries. Not all of it is actually native. I don't know. They just called it a native nursery. Not all of it are native plants, but yes, they were pretty cheap and like they look great. So that's awesome. But here, this year, right now, I have the melons and vining plants mostly on the sides here, some of which the watermelons I had started from seed, and then some of which I directly planted seeds, but there are some things starting to come up in there, so I'm pretty excited for that. Then the butternut squashes actually did all survive, and I think that's an extra summer squash that we had transplanted from extra seeds that sprouted there. We do have our serviceberry covered up right now, which I kind of want to see if I can maybe cover it differently, because it is starting to get berries. I don't know if you can see that in there, but it's definitely starting to get some berries on it, and I didn't want them getting picked by the birds. Here we added some chicken fence surrounding this garden because the broccoli was getting pretty decimated by rabbits, which is kind of sad. We figured, okay, they might be nibbling on some other stuff that we can't quite see. I think similarly to the tomatoes, except for these radishes, I think similarly to the tomatoes, some of this stuff might not do so well since it's a new hugelkultur mound, or a new hugelkultur bed, and it has a bunch of unbroken down wood in there. So I'm not sure that it's gonna necessarily grow the best. Here, this blueberry is starting to get some flowers on it, which is pretty fun. I'm hoping that the other one will start to get flowers too, and that they will cross-pollinate. I think that they should be a good match, but I guess we'll see. Here is a little plant nursery area that we have set up, trying to grow some different maples, and then we got some more wisteria that we're trying to grow from my mother-in-law, and underneath the hay in there are some coral honeysuckle, which is a more like cultivated version of honeysuckle that has, it's like a climbing vine that has really good pink flowers that we would put also on the trellis over there. Last thing in here is I got some Jerusalem artichokes, which are like pretty intense spreaders. So I'm putting them in a plastic tub in the ground to keep them from spreading too much. Here, a sister-in-law had thrown out acorn squash and saw that the seeds were growing. So she was like, hey, do you want these? And we said, sure, we'll take these little seedlings. So we just kind of threw them on the ground. We'll see what happens to them. But yeah, those would be the major updates. There are some flowers starting to come up along the side there where we'd planted some wildflowers. The wisteria and mint is growing really well. I'll show you that real quick. I'm just gonna leave that gate open for a second. Like I said, a whole bunch of clear cutting because we've just been realizing the trees are nasty and invasive, and we'd rather cut them down and plant some good ones in their place. So yeah, then we got mint that's growing pretty well in there, and then there, and we got little sprouts of mint. And then our wisterias are also looking pretty dang good. All these are wisteria, so we have pretty long branch, or a pretty long vine going on right here. So hopefully that wisteria be ready to start climbing before too long. So yeah, that's the garden updates for June 1st, 2026. We'll keep you updated. All right.